folks, Charlie from Two Beers and a Board Game here, and I have a brand new game from Kickstarter. It's called The Big Score, and I wanted to open it so we can kind of get our first impressions and go from there. So, very excited about this one. There's some drafting aspects to this game. So, I think these are all of our Kickstarter extras. Open. There we go. So the nice thing about this is a 1 to 6 player game. It's by Ryder Games, I think. Ryder Games. And these guys were definitely right on their schedule as far as, you know, estimating when we'd get the game. And I'm almost positive their Kickstarter said it was going to be delivered August 2018, and lo and behold, it is, you know, second week of August. And it's in my hand, so you've got to really give it to them for that. So, okay, so this is the part of the expansion, I think. Crack the Safe. So essentially, this game is basically a quasi-drafting game, bluffing game, where you want to go on a heist and get money, and the one with the most money wins, and etc. And one of the nice things they had at the very end of their Kickstarter, they just fell short of this is your jack of all trades token, and it's meant to be kind of like a wild card. And there was a stretch goal to get these to be, you know, metal slug poker chips, and they were just short of it. But the creators went ahead and went ahead with the production of these anyway, and was going to be included at no cost to everybody that backed the game. And then all they did was ask for donations for $2, because that's essentially what each one of them cost. That when you filled out your backer kit or whatever site they used to put in your final order and whatnot, you could donate $2 to it. So, you know, like I put in my $2 to, you know, kind of fulfill my end of the deal, so to speak, and that's, you know, very generous and awesome of guys like that. And it's great to see game designers do little things like that. So getting back into it, looks like we have a couple of the characters here. We have the Don and La Loba. That's things pop out. These are kind of your player cards. You know, let's see if I can get in there and let the autofocus get you. Probably not. I think it is right there. So really good art. It's a bunch of guys. I think they're based out of Tennessee, I want to say. Let's grab the rest of it out of here. So, they recently just had a fulfillment of like graphic novel adventure type books. That's kind of like a choose your own adventure type thing. So, Frozy ended up, backing those and getting them. And like I said, the art's really cool. The art, who is it? It's Ryan James and Keith Lowe. They really do a really good job with their stuff. You know, it's nice and cartoony, not too realistic, but not cartoony enough that it doesn't feel like a real game, so to speak. So these are the characters, and it looks like you have tokens. I think it's based on the number, kind of what you provide for the heist, because you have the ability to pass or fail a heist, and if you pass the heist, then you get to grab your loot. But you don't want to be, you know, you don't want to kind of overcommit yourself, so you don't get. Okay, so this is part of the expansion right here. Yes, it's the Crack the Safe expansion. So it's the big score. So awesome. Okay, so let's move on. Horse track jobs. Okay, yeah, so yeah, I think I have to kind of remind myself what it is, but yeah, you complete jobs, and at the very end, it's like a culmination to get to the heist. Alright, let's move into the box and see what we have inside here. But one of the nice things about this game, it's actually a 1 to 6 players, so there's actually solitaire rules that you can play it completely by yourself. And you know, sometimes, like myself, I'm very introverted. I just like to not have to interact with people, and I can just kind of do my own thing. There you go, 1 player game. It looks like a tracker board, because you can end up getting busted and not winning the game. It's our rule book. We have, you know, very good pictures, very step-by-step, 1, 2, 3 as far as your setup goes, what everything is. Your basic rules, your different phases. Yeah, so you hire a crew and then you assign your crew. You're hiring the crew is what the drafting is. I'm pretty sure you pass cards around to get your crew, and then you assign your crews to different jobs. And depending on if you have enough, it's colors. It's basically color based. You have enough red guys, orange guys, blue guys, whatever. If you complete that job, then you get your loot. And you work your way towards, and then resolve your jobs. The big score, the namesake of the game, where it's like kind of the final boss, so to speak. Are we going to rob the vault? Or are we just going to flee? Trade with the vault floor, and all that good stuff. Some additional rules. It has 2-player rules. Another variant in here. So it looks like it has some decent replayability, and just the sheer fact of drafting adds a lot of replayability to it as well, because you're never going to draft the same deck ever. So all of our cardboard cutouts. Oh, that's interesting. For the guys that like to repop their cardboard cutouts in, like Frozy does that in most of his games, there's actually a little tab in the cardboard cutout that you can kind of see here. Let's let that autofocus get in there. Come on. And maybe. Well, anyway, you can see a little tab in here. So if you put them all back in, you're not trying to bend the sides out like this. You can just reach in and grab all of them at once. So that's really awesome, actually. So like that, the one was just falling out. They just pop out. They pop out. They have a Jack of all token pop out card or cardboard still. Everything pops right back in very easily and hold its spot. So in this game you have money value and diamonds, and almost looks like Easter egg idols heads and whatnot, and the different tokens for each player. Looks like some cop. Oh, that's right. Yes, because inside the loot you can end up grabbing the cop badges, and that's how you lose the game or it ends. Now I remember that. Thing is also really cool is you have this is basically your loot box, so to speak. It has a little magnetic flap on it to hold it together. There's our bottom. Let's get this bad boy put together so we can see it. Oh, let's go. This is essentially your loot bag. That once you complete your job and you're grabbing loot, you get to reach in here, reach your hand in and grab it and see what you get for what your kind of take from the heist is. So that is nice to see, and then it has a nice little magnetic flap. So boom, here's your bank. I like it. It's something unique. It's something different. I always like kind of people breaking the mold. A bunch of tabs for your stands, because there's no miniatures or anything for the game like that. Also, it has a little money bag. It's pretty sweet. Just kind of adds that little bit of flavor to make it feel like it's a true heist. Our first player token is a big giant gem. I love that as well. They just really did a good job of just the little things for this game as far as component wise. I mean, really good. Doing your homework and just it was a really fairly priced game too. I want to say the edition I had was like $40, $50 or something like that. All of our cards. Here's our player boards. The Ice Queen. Again, the art on this is just great. I don't know if I said earlier, the artists, Ryan James and Keith Love, they did a fantastic job with the art in this game. These boards are two-sided. That there's a round one, flip over for round two, flip back over for round three. I think it's just kind of marked to help you remind where you're at. The Mamba, the Brute, the Collector, and the Sultan, these are just, they did just a really good job with these components. In fact, I'm going to pop these in with it. I'll put those over there. So the tokens, let's look at the cards, see what we have for our cards. Let's see if I can find our pull tab. We'll get it on the first try. Yes. All right. These are your cards that you're going to be drafting and playing with. The only thing I see, I know we talked about it in a previous video, that if you have the deck shuffled up from the side, you can actually, I don't know, I'm going to try to get up and get real close here with the camera here. You can see the colors that these cards are. So if you're just playing with a deck in the middle and just casually looking, you can kind of generally see what color of card it is that I would rather see. So here's one of the cards you're drafting. So if that autofocus gets in there, come on, friend. Maybe. Anyway, how it's just a solid color. I would like to see a border around it. So whether it's white or black or whatever, just so on the edge of the cards, you don't have an idea of what color it actually is. You know, everything's broken up into colors. So you have Conman's and Gunman, Driver, Greaseman, Muscle, and finally the Hacker. So, you know, a lot of the things for your stereotypical kind of like Ocean's 12 like thing, you know, big whole heist trying to get, you know, over your head and seeing what you can do. And then finally, the last thing we have here, we have scenarios. So these are all the solo scenarios. Oh, that's cool. Card quality is very good. It's good and thick. So these are different scenarios. Oh, okay. This has a lot of replayability. I'm very, very impressed by just this game so far. Not much for an insert. Cards are going to roll around and fly around. Not a huge deal. Frozie's a bigger, you know, stickler or stuff like that. With these cards just kind of floating around. The box looks like it's not big enough to have them. No, not with the. If you put the inserts back in, not the inserts, the cardboard back in with the tokens, you're not going to be able to put the cards up a long way. So I can see them getting all mixed up, and you have to kind of resort them every time. Not a huge deal. This is a game where if you have some of your foam board, you can easily make your own insert just so the cards stay in place. I'll probably end up doing that. So anyway, moving along, these are all of our jobs that we have. So these are the jobs that you complete around you go around the board, and these are the different jobs that you put your guys, your crew towards to try to, you know, complete the job and get your loot. So like you get different rewards for each one, and then at the end is where you have the big heist where you're kind of reaching in and blindly grabbing, you know, a piece of loot and hopefully trying to avoid the police. So I am very, very impressed with the components here. I think they did a very good job designing this game. Everything goes together very well. They had, you know, kind of put in their own money, so to speak, to make sure that everybody got these poker chips, and they're, you know, good solid Metal Slug poker chips. So I think these guys did a very good job with this game. I'm very, very excited to play it. We'll get it on the table as soon as we can, and bring you a review of that once we get to that point. So if you liked your videos, you know, like always, you know, give us a like, send us a comment. If you have a game that you think we should try to play, or, you know, how-to videos, there's endless ideas that we can do as far as video-wise. So, you know, drop us a line. You can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those good social media outlets. And that's really about it. This is the Big Score by Ryder Games. Very excited to play. They did a very good job pulling this one together. So that's about all we have. You know, we'll see you next time.